Ladies and gentlemen, just yesterday, one of the left's top political consultants, a man named James Carville, made the prediction that the Trump administration would collapse at some point in the next 30 days. Now, normally I think we would all just say, who cares what that guy thinks, and then get on with our lives. But you see, this time, something absolutely hilarious happened. Less than 24 hours after making his prediction, just earlier today, in fact, he got proven wrong by the very poll, the Harvard University poll, that he bases all of his political predictions off of. You know what? Just take a look at this.
And so, Dan, this is what I believe. I believe that this administration, in less than 30 days, in the midst of a massive collapse, and particularly a collapse in public opinion. Della Volpe at Harvard, who's very good. I used to think, once I saw a Harvard youth poll, I discounted it. I've come to say it's a pretty damn good poll.
You hear that? It's a pretty damn good poll. Well, like I previously said, an updated Harvard University poll just got released earlier today, and guess what? Trump is up big time. In fact, take a look at what President Trump himself had to say about it just earlier today.
The Harvard poll that came out had you up 9+ points, and all of your agenda that you ran on, you're accomplishing that. You got the support of the American people, including stopping the war in Ukraine. If you can comment on the latest Harvard poll, I'd appreciate that.
Well, I was honored by it. It was a big poll, and it's usually a poll that leans on the other side of things, the other side of the world, so to speak. But the Harvard poll is a respected poll, and it has us not only leading, but leading by a lot, and leading on every single issue that we've talked about. And as I said, we've become the party of common sense. And I think that's a very important element now, common sense, because what's happening in the world and even in this country, some of the things that took place, many of them are now canceled and the rest are being canceled as we speak. But we've moved very rapidly and I think very effectively. So I was honored by that poll. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
So folks, like he said, generally speaking, the Harvard poll leans a little bit to the left, but hey, regardless, he's up a whopping 9 points. So what does that mean? It means that people across America are absolutely loving every single thing that President Trump is doing right now. And so here's the deal. The Harvard poll actually goes through each and every one of Trump's big policy points, asking people how they feel about each one specifically. So what I want to do with you guys today is go through the Harvard poll together, looking at all of Trump's policy points individually to really understand how everyone feels right now. But before we do that, I want to say real quick that if you guys enjoy the daily news coverage, please consider subscribing to the channel because it really does help a ton with my daily struggle against the YouTube algorithm. But all right, folks, let's go ahead and jump right into the poll and start going over all of Trump's current policy points. To kick things off, deporting immigrants who are here illegally and have committed crimes has an absolutely overwhelming 81% rate of support. Now, folks, between you and me, I personally can't believe that this number isn't 100%. How insane do you have to be to think it's actually a good idea to have criminal illegal immigrants inside of the country? But then we have undertaking a full-scale effort to find and eliminate fraud and waste in government expenditures with a massive 76% rate of support. Imagine being one of the people right now that's like, no, I think having fraud and waste and corruption inside of the federal government is actually a good thing. Thank God those people aren't in charge anymore. Next up, closing the border with added security and policies that discourage illegal crossings has a 76% rate of support. Yeah, here's the thing. If we don't have borders, guess what? We don't have a country. Everything that we've all built as a country comes crumbling down because then you have tens of millions of people from the third world coming pouring in. Then we have banning men who have undergone operations and hormones to become women from girls' sports with a 69% rate of support. Yeah, so folks, as it would turn out, this isn't such a good idea. Hey, who would have thought? Declaring that there are only two genders, male and female, on all government forms and programs has a 68% rate of support. Two genders, two terms, and we all can't give two craps whether or not that makes them upset. Eliminating all preferences by race in the hiring and awarding of government contracts has a 65% rate of support. Yeah, imagine giving jobs to people based on who's actually the most highly qualified as opposed to giving jobs to people based off of arbitrary racial quotas. You know what? I think that sounds like a pretty good idea. Then we have freezing and reevaluating all foreign aid expenditures, and the department that handled them has a 63% rate of support. Imagine that, actually spending American taxpayer money on Americans here in America as opposed to sending it to people in Uzbekistan so that they can have gay pride parades. Up next, placing reciprocal tariffs on countries that have tariffs on US goods has a 61% rate of support. Hey, here's the deal. Other countries place tariffs on the USA, a lot of tariffs by the way. Why can't we do it to them? Then we have cutting government expenditures that were already allocated by Congress with a 59% rate of support. So really what this means is just cutting out waste that has already been identified by Congress. Yeah, we should get rid of that stuff. And finally, ending bans on offshore drilling in Alaska and elsewhere has a 57% rate of support. Folks, here's what's kind of funny to me. If you're a super progressive, green, environmentally conscious voter, you should actually want us here in America to achieve energy independence. Why? Because the way that we here in America process energy is way more environmentally conscious than pretty much anywhere else in the world. So if it's got to get done, and it does need to get done, it's actually better that we do it ourselves. But okay, folks, so after going through all of that, here's the big takeaway. We just went through President Trump's top 10 agenda points right now, and as you can see, every single one of them has overwhelming support from Americans from all walks of life. Seriously, right now, this country is more unified than ever before. And so, of course, the radical progressives are going to continue to melt down over every single thing that happens, but hey, it's important to keep in mind, this country really is back on track at the moment. Beyond the individual issues, right now, President Trump has his highest approval ratings of all time, around 54%, which means that what he's doing is resonating with people across the country. But not only that, right now the Democrats have their lowest approval ratings of all time. People are just sick of the left's antics. Because not only do they just not provide results or make people's lives better in a real, tangible way, but also they just lie, gaslight, and fearmonger nonstop. Really, I think people are just sick and tired of all the negativity coming from the left. People want to feel like proud Americans again and not get shamed and beaten down for actually caring about the country. And so really, that's why people are so happy with Trump and his administration right now. Being a proud American with your head held up high is socially acceptable again. And if you ask me, that's really important. And so once again, this is why Trump's ratings are so high right now, and this is what all of these radical progressives just don't seem to understand. We all love this country, and we're done letting it rot away. But folks, I think that's going to be a wrap for today's video, so please go down below in the comments, let me know what you think about all of this. Please like the video if you liked it. Like I said earlier, please consider subscribing to the channel because it really does help a ton. Thank you all very much for watching, and of course, as always, stay safe.